Ladies and gentlemen, broadcasting live from the Dallas Fort Worth area. Welcome to the Points Blank Experience, where there's real talk from a point blank perspective. When it comes to Rod, there is no faking and shaking. He only knows how to be one way, and that is 100% real. While you're enjoying the show, you may want to call or text a friend and invite them over, because we're about to have a whole lot of fun up in here. So sit back,
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
relax, and enjoy the show, and let's get real, baby.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Look. Let's make this move. Where it's more than a YouTube channel, it's a experience. You can just be able to get ready to see here in a few minutes. What I mean when I say it. Enough of all the preludes, enough of all the music. As you can see from the screen, we do have the Points Blank Network. We have all 4 channels on the screen, and the passcode to success on the Points Blank Network is 247365. That is not a PIN number to any of my credit cards or my debit card. That is the passcode to success, meaning we stay grinding 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And without any further ado, I think the wait is long overdue. Let me get ready to go ahead and bring myself up in here. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Points Blank Experience. Allow me to reintroduce myself. It's your boy, Rod, the host that sometimes does the most. And I want to welcome everybody here tonight. And on this channel, we have 2 simple slogans. It's real talk from a point blank perspective. And it's more than a YouTube channel. It is an experience. I see we got 30 real homies, 108 comments. Oh, Lord, it's going to be a long night. And I am honored. I'm blessed to have my main man, Scott from Controversial Cruising. I've done quite a bit of promoting for this live stream. Really saw Scott on a couple of episodes of Warm Strong Adventures and on Carnival Cruise Addicts, if I'm not mistaken. And I had a little birdie say, hey, I think you need to reach out to Scott and have him on the channel. I said, hey, okay, let me check him out and see what's going on. And boy, this was not a mistake. And I am honored and blessed to have Scott from Controversial Cruising. I don't like to wait a long time before I bring the guest up. Let me make sure he's ready. I stay ready so I don't have to get ready. So let me make sure to get the thumbs up from him. He's ready. Without any further ado, welcome, Scott. What is going on, my man? What is going on?
How are you, Rod? How's it going?
Oh, man, it's going, bro. You brought the house with you, man. I ain't never had this many comments starting off alive. Oh, my God. I can't even ask questions. I'm going to be too busy reading the comments, man.
Hey, sometimes the lives get like that, but yeah, no, so blessed for the community that we have and the people that have come over, and definitely all the people that have been here since this has even started. So blessed, Rod.
Well, I tell you what, man, again, I thank you backstage, and I'm going to thank you again publicly. Thank you so much for accepting the offer to come to the Points Blank Experience. I believe in only having the best of the best on the channel. You know, I've had quite a few cruisers on here, and man, y'all cruisers stick together. Y'all running packs, like big packs. Yeah. So, hey, man, I got some questions for you. But before I get into the questions, Scott, do me a favor. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, not too much, because I have some questions. I'm gonna give you the center stage, and I'll be right here. So as soon as you're done, I'll be right here to bring me back on. Just tell everybody, who is Controversial Cruising?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. So controversial cruising, really at the heart, I guess you can think of me as your on-land cruise director. You know, I like to tend to think that I bring people together. I like to have fun. That's what my channel is about. Controversial cruising, at really the heart of controversial cruising, is the fact that we can all go on cruises together, or we can all go on vacation, whatever, cruises together, and you can do something, I can do something, and we can meet up together later and share what we did. And that's really what controversial cruising is about. That is, it's more about a group and a we rather than a me and an I. And yeah, it's a controversial could be a good thing for some things. For some things.
Okay, I like that, man. I love the name, man. Controversial. When I first started, I was like, man, does he like go on cruises and start a lot of stuff, or what is this controversial cruising? You know, and then as I, had to get in your business, as I started researching for the interview, I learned, hey, man, there's more to controversial cruising. There's really not any controversy. All I saw was fun, and I must say, I love what you bring to the community, not only the YouTube community, but what you bring to the cruising community. I mean, you are definitely a top-notch guy. So, hey, man, we're going to jump right in here, Scott. So, you don't mind me asking, where are you originally from, man?
So I'm originally from Long Island, New York. But to give a little background, before that, I was actually adopted from South Korea. So you're not originally from Long Island, New York, but I would like to say born and raised, because I was adopted at a very young age and spent 30 years on Long Island, New York before I came to Scottsdale, where I am now.
Okay, that's right. You are in Arizona, and I'll probably be out there in the very near future. I'm definitely going to have to exchange contact information and hang out with you. So, because who knows when I'm going on another cruise. But I know I was in Phoenix twice last year and plan on going here in the upcoming future. So you were adopted at a very young age from South Korea, man. I've been to Seoul, I've been to Busan, and you may not even remember these places since it was such a young age, but I mean, have you been back since you left? And y'all, this is not scripted. I don't know any of this stuff I'm asking, Scott. This is news to me, like it's news to y'all. Y'all may already know, and I don't know, but have you been back?
Some of the cruising community knows. I have not been back. No, that's actually a question I get a lot, and honestly, I don't get offended by any of the questions. I've been getting it since I was young. Why do your parents look different? Why don't you look like your mom and dad? I've been getting it since I was in kindergarten. So I answer it with an open heart, and I give the true information because it is what it is, and I believe that my parents that I have here that raised me are my parents, and my parents forever. So, but I have not been back, no, and it hasn't really yet, Rod. To tell you the truth, it hasn't really crossed my mind, and I'm gonna let it cross my curiosity by itself if it does, and then I'll go back there, and revisit some deeper culture, deeper history within myself.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. And a lot of times when I do these interviews, I have to sometimes I do have the questions. I know the questions I'm going to ask, but we don't script what's going to be said. But I worked with a guy who was adopted from South Korea. And for the longest, his last name, and all out of respect for his privacy, I'm only going to say his last name. His last name was Lewis. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and man, probably for about 2 months, Scott, I was like, I want to ask this guy, how is his name Lewis, but he don't really look like a Lewis. He looked like another name, right? He's obviously Asian. And so finally I built up my nerve to ask him one day, and he told me he was adopted. He told me his story, man. And his parents also adopted a young man from Ireland as well. So very multicultural family. So man, that's pretty dope, man. And you say you're currently in Scottsdale, and
yeah.
So I'm thinking about moving to Arizona, man. I was out there in the summer, and it was hot. It was way too hot for me. And I was out there in the winter, and I didn't even bring a jacket, and I was freezing.
So how
It's
long?
beautiful in the winter.
How
I
long
love
have
it in
you?
the winter, for me, to be honest.
Okay, you love it. Okay, yeah, I went to a baseball game out there in Surprise, Arizona, and it was very nice. Uh, so you were born and raised in Long Island, and I'm just looking at my questions here, but you came from South Korea. Now, do you have any siblings that you know of, or?
I do. So I actually have a sister who I think was stayed in South Korea, to my knowledge, uh, back in the 80s. And
Hmm.
somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but to my knowledge, back in the 80s, when you only had one parent, a single parent with multiple children, you could only have one child. And my sister was the oldest, and I guess could provide for the family. And she was already working, I believe, and I was put up for adoption, which is a blessing, believe me.
Wow, man, that's boy. I'm already like lost for words, man, and I'm never lost for words. So coming, you came here at a young age. So what was it like for Scott growing up? What was it like in Long Island? I mean, when you grew up, what was it like for you?
I mean, to be honest with you, I can't, I can't really say that I had a hard life growing up. My parents were always together. They are still together. They're very loving. They love me. I love them. And I had a lot of friends growing up. I played baseball in high school. So, you know, growing up for me was fun. I played a lot of baseball. I would say I played a lot of baseball, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed being around my friends. I, I kind of always thought at one point or another I would have some kind of social media platform or outlet. Well, I'll kind of allude to that, and I'll get to that once we get to older me. But younger me, I guess, yeah, it was a good childhood.
Wow. So, and with my question, Scott, just to let you know, I kind of would jump around a little bit because I don't like the audience to kind of be able to guess what I'm going to ask next. I kind of, I be 1 minute be in your childhood, next minute I may be in adulthood. You never know. So now, controversial cruising. Obviously you're a cruiser. What year did you take your first cruise?
Uh, First cruise, I would believe. Okay, so 1988. Probably 1991 was my first cruise.
Wow, 1991, man. Yeah, I took my first cruise in 1990, but I wasn't on a cruise ship like you was on. I was in the U.S. Navy, so
Oh,
uh, I don't think you can compare the two. But so
I was
what
a
was
baby.
when you went on that first? What was that first cruise like? I mean, was it obviously you had a good time because you're still cruising 30 something years later. So what was that first cruise like?
I tell you, I can't even remember, but I mean, my parents. So it was, if anybody remembers Hanna Barbera, the cartoon character, back in the day, it was like Cartoon Network Hanna Barbera. It was a Hanna Barbera themed cruise, and apparently I was dead scared of all of the characters that were in costume, and I was pretty much upset and crying the whole time. So, but yeah, I don't really remember it. I was too young, but yeah, that's what my parents told me. But I still
Oh,
love it. And look at where I am now.
so is it safe to say that Carnival is your favorite cruise line? Is that
Ooh. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
okay? Okay.
Yeah.
And I know you've gone on some cruises with other content creators, and I think one of your recent ones was in Tampa. You were with Mr. Bill
I was.
from Armstrong Adventures. I think you met up with Life with V and Edna
Yep.
as well. What was it like seeing those
Our
content?
favorite couple too. Everyone's favorite couple.
Oh yeah, your favorite couple. Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
M and
They
H
do me
Family
wrong,
Adventures.
man. We live about 20 minutes, 25 minutes away from each other, and they'll typically wait until they get where they're going to say, "Hey, Rob, by the way, we're on Margaritaville. Rob, by the way, we're in Seattle. Rob, by the way, we're on our way to Alaska." So, and I must say, I have mad respect for Shelton and Keith from Your Favorite Couple.
I do too.
So what was it like? What was it like just seeing all these content creators in one place? Just the different personalities, the different sea stories, the different cruise stories. What was it like?
It was really awesome. It was great to see everybody's perspective on how they spin their content and how they create their craft. Because as a content creator, right? I believe that, yeah, okay, we can invent something, but not often do we ever have to really invent something. We don't have to recreate the wheel. We can do something that we saw another content creator do, but we can do it in a different way. And I'm not saying copy, right? But the style in which somebody does something's like, wow, I like that, right? And you can add it to your game without imitating them or ever knowing, right? It's just you taking something from being around someone and them offering, hey, this is the way that I shoot my blog, or this is the way that I do this. For example, Bill and I learned a lot from Bill, and Bill says he learned a lot from me. I don't know what he learned from me, but I learned a lot from him. And it was just nice to be able to kind of see your favorite couple and see MH and see Edna's World and V and just the way they do things and talk about YouTube things. It was great. It was really great to be there with a bunch of people and more people that I met that I had no idea, like Portholes and Pixie Dust and other content creators that I had no idea were there. This Cruise Life and JJ Cruz, JJ Cruz.
Wow. So I like how you put it. Like, everyone have their own way of cruising. I've only been on one for real cruise. I've been on several with the U.S. Navy, but and I went on the Meet and I cruise last year in 2023, and it was 70 content creators there. Well, about 65 content creators and about 5 non-content creators. And man, I had a ball. You're going on that cruise in a couple of days, aren't you?
No, Bill is going on that cruise in a couple of days.
Okay, you're not going. Okay, I don't know why I thought you were going. Man.
Out of PTO. But I will take a rain check, Meet and I see them in the chat.
So you say out of PTO. How do you plan for all these cruises? How do y'all pull this off, man? I'm trying to figure it out because how do you get all this time off to go on these different cruises? Do you plan weeks, months, a year in advance? How do you do that?
I would like to tell you, but I think, Rod, right now at the pace that I'm going, the cruises are planning me. I'm not planning the cruises. I would love to say I'm planning the cruises, but there are cruises that are kind of falling in front of me and opportunities being given to me, and I have to take them, whether I'm getting paid or not. And I do get progressive overtime. So as I do work, I do get accrued overtime. I guess you can say you work for the overtime, which is fine. But I mean, I'm more about opportunity. We're only here for a short time. So, what am I going to do? Die with the money? I can't die with the money. I got to go and have the experience in the cruise with, X experience. There's a whole bunch of different experiences that just keep, I don't want to say keep falling in my lap, but, in a way it's a great opportunity for me, for my channel. And I'm grateful for it. And I don't know how I'm doing it. To tell you the truth, I don't.
Wow. And for anyone that has a question for Scott, please put a little emoji like a ship or a heart or something in the comments. I'm trying to go through here and see if I see any as I do this. So definitely, if y'all have a question for him, please put it in the comments and I'll be more than happy to ask. It helps me out when y'all do that. So now you said the cruises are planning you. You're not really planning the cruises. If say that I'm a new cruiser, how would you recommend that I start my cruising journey? How would you there's so many different cruise lines. You have the Carnival, the Royal Caribbean, the Norwegians, the Celebrities, the Princess, the Disney. Would you suggest that people start, say, maybe on Carnival or Royal and maybe do the 4-day cruises and then work their way up? How would Scott give advice to a new cruiser?
tell you the truth, I would get a really good buddy that knows about cruising that you trust, and maybe that person is or not a travel agent, but whether they're not, a really good person that will ask you questions. Because, Rod, to tell you the truth, I would love to say that there's a one cruise line for everybody, or I could tell you what a beginning cruiser should cruise on, but that is different depending on every individual, and we are all different individuals. So I think really somebody that's standing in your corner and saying, hey, if you came to me and say, Scott, I want to go on my first cruise, right? I would ask you, Rod, are you going with anybody? Is it a romance cruise? Are you going as a boys cruise? Do you want to go to the Caribbean? Do you want to go more to Alaska? Do you want to go port intensive? Do you not care? Do you want to go on a bigger ship? Do you want to go on a smaller ship? Do you want to go on an older ship? Do you have no money and you just want to get on any ship that is still floating the ocean and giving you good food for X amount of days? There's so many questions, and somebody that may or may not be out for your best intentions may, put you or suggest you on a cruise with their intentions in mind, right? I always try to give the best advice with the other person's intentions in mind and their thought process and what they're going through and how they're going to experience the cruise, because it's going to be different than me, unless I'm going to be there. If they're going to be there, like, let's say Keone, where I got to take him on his first cruise, it's one of my favorite things to do. You give me a first-time cruiser that wants to go on a cruise, bingo, bam, forget about it. Let's do it. Like,
wow,
that lights me up.
Wow. So, do you consider yourself a solo cruiser? Or at one point, did you consider yourself a solo cruiser before you start meeting the Warm Strong Adventures and the Your Favorite Couples and all these other content creators?
I think I went through a short stint where I was a solo cruiser, but I guess I would always joke that I was, but I always found a friend at the right time, like my dad always said, right place, right time. I would always be booking a cruise and somebody would just be like, hey man, I want to go on vacation. Well, Brandon, you want to go on vacation? And I've gotten, no, I don't want to go. And I've gotten, I don't care where we go. I need to get out now. Okay, I'll book it. And I booked it, and we've had the greatest time. So, and I've met so many people too. Here's the thing, outside of YouTube and, real life friends and all that, I've met people on cruises that I still continue to keep in contact with. Actually, I'm going to miss a wedding. I guess you would say a cruise fling that did not develop into a long-term thing, just a cruise fling, but kept in contact, really good friends with the girl. And I'm going to actually miss her wedding because it's a destination wedding and I'm going to be on a cruise. So sorry, Kelsey.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I have so many friends from cruises, and now I have best friends that work on the cruise line. So I go and visit them. And, when my friends are going to now see some of the people that I have met, I refer them. Like Elisa is going to see, they're going on the Firenze. I think Bill and Lisa, they're going on the Firenze. And I have a musician friend, his name is Hayden, who is on there, and he's going to be looking out for them, and vice versa. So, connect them.
It's good to know people, man. It's real good to know people. And hey, y'all, while I'm thinking about it, please do me a favor, man. Let's run these numbers up. Please hit that like button, hit that thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. I plan on having many more cruisers, many more content creators, as well as non-content creators on the channel to get to know them as well, because I'm always intrigued by people and their stories and how they came about and who they are today and where they started. So please, by all means, hit the like button, subscribe if you feel gracious enough, and I greatly appreciate that. Now, Scott, I'm gonna jump around a little bit, man. It seems like you've done a lot in life. What has been your biggest accomplishment in life that you would say?
That's a good one. That's a really good
one. And if you have to think about it, I can always circle back around because I got plenty of questions.
I'm pretty good on the spot. I think, I think my greatest accomplishment, and I don't want to, seem cliche, but, I think it's just, waking up every day in the morning and learning something and still having my parents that I can call every single day, and having, great friends around me, and having, a wonderful YouTube that I never ever thought that I'd be blessed with so many digital friends that are now becoming in real life friends. And, I think my biggest accomplishment is maybe even yet to come, to be honest with you. But, I feel like, it's somewhat right around here, right around here. I have a really good feeling. So, biggest accomplishment I just think is, I don't know, being a good human being. I like to think that, I'm a good human being, and I look at you for you, no matter what the color of your skin is, no matter what your, sexual orientation is, no matter what your height is, your shape is, your it doesn't matter what you are. If you're a bad person, you're a bad person. I'm not gonna associate with you. But, if you're a wonderful and an awesome person, I'm going to associate with you, and I'm going to bring that out in you, because, I like when my friends are happy, and I like when the people around me are happy, and I recharge from that. A lot of people say, "Oh, you're the busiest man on YouTube. You're the craziest man on YouTube." But, I recharge from watching people's lives and laughing and being in the chat. And, that's why I say no sometimes to coming up on people's lives, because I like being part of the chat and being part of the chatter and being part of the community, being part of it, being part of, all of it. So that's I'm a team guy at the heart.
I like that, because one thing that I noticed just from watching your content and researching for the interview, and I'll definitely be tapped in from now on, is I love your vibe, man. It just from what I've gathered, and I've never met you in person, but from what I've gathered, it's like easy to be Scott's friend. I mean, like, how can you not get along with Scott? This dude here is just laid back, he's chill. And I like how you answered that question. I don't think I've ever had anyone answer that question in that manner, where I say, what has been your biggest accomplishment? People usually will spit some out, but you say your biggest accomplishment may be yet to come. I love that. That was dope. And, as we thrive and continue to grow and continue to be better within ourselves, we are always accomplishing something different. So I like how you answered that, man. I may have to change that question.
Let me echo on that real quick too. I think if we all, can shut our eyes and remember, a time when we had to learn something every day. We had to go to school, right? Now as we get to adults, sure, do we learn some things? Yeah, you learn how to, use the new microwave, or you learn how to, turn on the new dishwasher, sure. But do you actually learn something, right? That's why they say the smartest people in life, and this is me, I'm talking to myself here, right? Are people who read at least one book a month, right? I'm trying to start to do more things that are going to, instill my growth and instill the knowledge that I know that really comes to fire when you learn something. When you learn something, you grow. That's really at the heart of it, right? No matter cruising or not, you learn something when you grow. And we stop growing when we stop learning. And for some reason, when we get old, we stop learning. There's excuses. I don't know. I got work. I got this. I got the child. I got the dog. Oh, can't do it. Can't learn. One other thing, I want to learn Spanish, because guess what? That's super, super useful. I want to learn the guitar. What ladies don't like the guitar, right? Jimmy is actually going to help me learn the guitar too. It's just learning something, Rod. I think we forget that. Real big message that we forget to learn something. So when we learn something, we get happy and we grow. And that's what it's about. That's what it's about.
And I like that, man. Because you're right. That's one of my mottos is I try to learn something new every day. Am I always successful? No, I'm not. Mm-hmm. But I try to learn something new every single day, because I think the day you stop learning is the day you stop living. That's just my opinion. Yeah. No one knows everything. So I kind of pride myself on trying to learn something new every single day, whether it's something on YouTube, whether it's, something with investing. Mm-hmm. How can I be a better individual? How can I give back to the community? So now we've talked about your biggest accomplishment that's yet to come. But if there was one thing that you could do over again, what would it be, Scott?
Ooh, over again. Ooh. I like to be a man that doesn't live in regret. So I like to think that I wouldn't like to do anything over. But let's see, do over some of those cruise planes. No, I'm just joking. Let's see. Okay, so here's one. Okay, I'm gonna keep it cruise related, and I actually joke about this a lot with my best friend who works on Carnival. His name is Savio. There are some people that actually have met him in the chat. I also joke about it with Bill. And Bill, I want to say happy birthday too on live YouTube TV. Or Bill, happy birthday wherever you are. I know you're in the chat somewhere. But I just lost my train of thought.
Oh, it happens to me all the time. Don't feel bad. I just got a text message that told me to stop texting. But for those of you that think I'm texting, my questions are on my lovely iPad. So when you see me look down, I'm getting ready for the next question. I'm not texting. One of my team members just told me, stop texting. So you lost your trainer, Scott? Your trainer.
I said happy birthday to Bill, and I lost my train of thought.
Well, hey, I want to shout out Bill as well. Happy birthday to Bill. I had him on the channel not long ago, and that's a cool brother as well. Fun guy, man. And I mean, I can't imagine being in the same room with you and Bill on the cruise, boy. That would just be off the chain. So
it was great.
Just think about it, and when you come back, if you come back to it, you do it. If you don't, you don't. Now,
hey, yeah. Okay, I remember. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's okay. It's okay.
So the biggest regret is not starting, and I shared this on YouTube today. So not starting my real cruise director journey earlier. I joke about this with Savio, joke about it with Bill, joke about it with a bunch of people that if I was 25, I would have started the whole entertainment squad down at the bottom. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's never too late. And yes, you're right. It is never too late. But that pay cut that you would take, even though you don't pay rent, even though you don't pay all of that, the pay cut that you would have to take as a 36-year-old individual, I would not be able to do it, unfortunately. And you don't start as a cruise director. I mean, if you hit the lotto, well, I guess you can, but you don't start as a cruise director. You start as the fun squad. And that is, I mean, it's fun. Don't get me wrong, but there's some not fun moments to be. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. So I always ask every guest that I have on the channel this question, Scott, and I'm going to ask it a little earlier while we have a good crowd here. If you could meet one person, alive or not alive, who would it be?
I would not. Okay, so I guess so I'll give you 3 answers, okay?
You sound like Rod. I could never give one, Scott. I always got to have 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, go ahead, man. If it's 3, it's 3. I'm cool with that.
All right. So dead would be my grandma and grandpa because they've been gone for a really, really, really long time. And, I just enjoy being around them. They are definitely part of my development, definitely part of the lessons that I learned. Great memories. And, I'd love to, eat dinner with them again at their house across from the docks. I would say YouTube celebrity or YouTube person that I would really want to meet, that I will meet eventually, are the Traveling Gilberts. So that is Ronnie and Teresa Gilbert. I think I started watching them very first. I think Bill was very shortly after, and it just followed after that. But I am a big New Orleans guy, so I typed in New Orleans cruising, and up came this crazy couple, and I've been watching them ever since I even thought about starting a YouTube before controversial cruising was even posting. I'm sure they had a bit to do with me, pushing me to post, and I guess, and then. If I was going to say like a celebrity, I like this game. This was a fun game. I guess if I was gonna say a celebrity, there's a good one. There's good ones out there. There's really good. You know, you guys might call me crazy, and I almost had a chance to meet her, and she's not really that big anymore, but she's always been kind of like this celebrity crush of mine. But Hayden Panettiere, I don't know if I would waste my. I think that's just what comes to my head right now. But Hayden Panettiere, the actress who hasn't been in anything in a really long time, but yeah, she was like my crush back in the day. So,
Hey, who is that, Scott? How you say her name?
Hayden Panettiere, Panettiere. I don't even know.
I don't know who she is, so I probably met her and don't even know it. No, I'm kidding, man. I'm kidding. So I have.
Yes, heroes. Yes, Liz.
Oh, so boy. 3 of them. I like that. So your grandparents, and I've had people ask that question when I've been interviewed, and I always said my great grandfather. I've met him, but I would have liked to pick his brain. I mean, I was so young, and I wish the current day Rod could sit down and talk to him in his heyday, because he was a wise man when it came to investments and moving his money around. So
love that.
Now, speaking of celebrities, when you're on these various cruises, man, do anyone ever recognize you from YouTube?
There are a few people. For me, I'm very, very solemnly starstruck. I don't believe on putting other humans on pedestals, and I believe that at root we kind of sometimes idolize people by their sub count, or by how big they are, or how many followers they have on a platform, when people are people at the root. And I like to first watch people and then kind of interact, even though that's kind of the opposite of my personality here on YouTube. I kind of like to people watch a little bit and see how people react, and then interact with the humans. And most of the time they actually come up to me, and I don't think it's recognizing. They don't, they might say, "Oh, Scott from Controversial Cruising," but I don't write it down as like, "Oh, I'm famous now that somebody recognized me on YouTube." I think it has happened, but I like to just only associate again with people that are cool, people that are going to come up. You feel the vibe, and you're like, you can definitely feel from body language, Rod, and how people are, how the vibe. You're like, ooh, this person isn't what he thought he was. I haven't had that in a really long time, but the people that I met on Margaritaville, you just felt all the cool vibes, when everybody was just accepting. They're there to have a good time, and that's what I'm about. That's what I'm about.
So, Scott, is there ever a time you're on a cruise? Like when I went on the Meet and I cruise last year, I think a lot of people, they see my lives, and I can be entertaining. And most of the times I'm on somewhere between 8 and 10. I'm turned up. But on the everyday Rod is not always on 10. The everyday Rod, some days maybe on 4, some days he may be on 5. Do people meet you, and do they always expect Scott to be on 10? Because you come across as you stay on 10. You actually probably on 12.
It's funny. I often get that a lot of people meet me for the first time, and they feel like they've known me for 12 years, and I've been their best friend, and they've met me before. That's kind of how it felt with Bill. It's kind of how it felt with Sherry. That's kind of how it felt with Chet and Robin and Danny and all of the people, V and all of them. It just felt like that. I felt like I've known them and I've met them all before, even though it was the very first time and it was very exciting. It just felt like we all kind of knew each other, and I get that a lot. I don't know why, but I get that a lot. But I think it's because, after this whole C word, and I don't want to go into a whole rant, but after this whole C word, Rod,
by all means, go ahead. I don't mind.
I think we lost as humans, whether it doesn't really matter about the age, but I think we lost some communication between human beings, and sometimes I think we forget how to communicate, and that's the biggest thing, right? That makes anything falter at all, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a business ship, whether it's a I almost said cruise ship. Whether it's any of those type of relationships, right? It falters because there's no communication. You didn't tell your manager this. You didn't do this. You didn't tell your girlfriend you were going here. You didn't. You didn't leave a post-it note that you needed mangoes. Like, there's so many things because of communication, right? And sometimes we don't feel comfortable with communicating what we need to communicate. That's why we don't do it, right? Of course, like, it will just go under the rug. They won't need the mangoes, and they get pissed off that there was no mangoes. Using that as an example. But I think we lost the true communication barrier, and I don't know. It's just
wow. I agree, and I want to blame the loss of the communication barrier somewhat on technology. A lot of times you can go to dinner, and I did a staycation 2 weeks ago at the Renaissance in downtown Dallas. And there was a couple sitting a couple tables away from me and a young lady I was with, and they were just on their phones. I'm like, why did y'all even go to dinner together? I mean, y'all could just, I don't even get it. I mean, and they both wore glasses, and they had their glasses pulled down, and they would look over their glasses at each other and say something real quick, and they go back to their phones. I'm like, boy, this is hilarious, But that art of communication has been lost, and where Rod may still be able to do it, the Scotts of the world may be able to do it, your favorite couples of the world may be able to do it, but then what about our youth? What about our younger people today? That's who I'm worried about. I mean, boy, they don't even spell anymore. WYD, what you doing? I need a whole encyclopedia just to figure out what people talk to me with. When they text me, I'm like, okay, I got to go over here and Google this to see what this means. I was like,
hey Siri, how do you spell cantaloupe?
yeah. Or I do like that. Word check or whatever it is, autocorrect. Because like today, I was drafting one of your questions today, and I was putting in my notes on my iPhone. And for the life of me, I couldn't spell Mediterranean. I had like 3 or 4 R's in there. I had the whole checkbook, and it auto-corrected. I was like, oh, good. Well, thank God for auto-correct. But speaking of Mediterranean, have you ever done a Mediterranean cruise? Or
I have not. It's definitely on definitely on the bucket list for sure. The Greek Isles, Mediterranean. I definitely want to go. I have a good friend actually that took her 2 daughters for graduation, I believe, graduation present. So I'm kind of living vicariously through her Facebook post. She's in my Facebook group too. So yeah, she's making me really want to go. So funny that you asked that question. I was like, literally an hour and a half ago, I was looking at her pictures. She's like, woke up to this, had like a mimosa out, and I was like, wow, that's like Mykonos. She was in, I'm probably saying it wrong, but the one with the M and the Y.
So, Scott, what's the longest cruise you've ever been on?
Ooh, the last one that I was just on, the 11-day. The 11-day to Alaska still is the reigning champion of the longest cruise I've been on, which is the 11 days, but soon enough, in about a month and a half, in the middle of September, I'll be going on a 14 or 15 day to Hawaii. And that will be my biggest cruise, my longest cruise, my biggest.
Wow. Well, see, I have all y'all cruisers beat. I'm not platinum or diamond or bronze. I think I'm a blue card. I'm whatever card you get when you go on one cruise. I'm that card. So, but the longest I've been out to sea when I was in the U.S. Navy, Scott, was 45 days on multiple occurrences. 45 days. No casino. No, what they call it when y'all go get the steaks and stuff? What they call it?
Specialty dinings.
Yeah, no specialty dining. No shows. It wasn't no marriage life or married couple or whatever they call the show. It was, and after about 30 days, you are literally about ready to kill somebody. It was like I did it 4 or 5 times. Prior to that, I think it was 27 days, but 45 days. And if you ever want to upset Rod, just ask me when I'm out to sea on about the 31st day, am I having fun yet? And I'll be ready to choke you. I'm serious. You know? And I mean, people just say, are we having fun yet? What do you think? But yeah, man. So I got everybody beat, but I only had the blue card. I wish the Navy would have gave us some little diamond cards or something like that. I'd have been
you would definitely been diamond. You would have been double diamond.
Yeah, I'd have been like some metal they ain't even came up with you, like plutonium or something. So y'all, in case you just tuning in, it's your boy Rod. We do have the incomparable Scott from Controversial Cruising, and I must say, man, I've done some pretty dope interviews, and this one here has been one of the best. And we're not even done. I'm not going to keep y'all here all night, contrary to belief. And I'm looking at all these comments, man. I might be like collecting Social Security by the time I finish all these comments, man. What is your group called? Team Scott? Team Scott showed up and showed out. And I'm going to give you a Team Rod.
They did.
From now on, when y'all see me somewhere else, can y'all say Team Rod? You know, just even if you see me, just say, hey, Team Rod. Make me feel like Scott, because he got to feel important right now. So
I didn't think it was gonna. That was only from today, pushing out and putting on the Instagram and telling everybody in the in the lives. But hey, Rod, that really goes to show that supporting goes a long way. You know, a lot of my relationships on YouTube have come from supporting. But going further than supporting, supporting is watching a video for 3 minutes or liking, commenting. But going further than that and actually showing up after that for multiple people. And everybody says, busiest man on YouTube. But, I do really enjoy watching other creators in their space and watching them do lives and create their craft. So it's enjoyable to me. People might think I'm crazy, but I love it.
Well, it's funny you say that, because when I went on the Meet and I cruise, that was one of the dopest things to see your favorite couples and the Keeping Up with the Griffins, and even Meet and I to see. And Meet and I, they don't do a lot of vlogs when they're on their cruises, when they're hosting a cruise. But to see and Team Reach Travel, to see all these people, how they put it together, I'm like, I mean, they had, your favorite couple had a GoPro 12 or 15 or 17 or something like that. And the Griffins had this little bitty backpack, but then they started pulling out 25-foot tripods. I'm like, man, I'm over here with my little iPhone just trying to capture stuff, man.
Everybody stay still 1 second.
Yeah, I'm like, and then I be forgetting half the time, y'all call me. I be forgetting my phone record sometime. I just use it to talk and text. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I can vlog, but I don't know what I'm doing. And then, I was taking notes and I still didn't get it. I got to go on about 7 more Meet and I cruises and hang out with your favorite couple about 28 more times. And I think I'm gonna get this down. I think I'm gonna be able to vlog by then. So now
I'm gonna try to be on the next one, Rod. So.
Hey man, I'm going next time. I missed this one. I got caught slipping on the banana peel, but I'm gonna be on the next one. That's the plan, God's will. Now, you're part of the Controversial Cruising. I mean, not controversial. See, I'm all confused. I'm having a senior moment. I'm sorry, y'all. In about 3 weeks, I'll qualify for discounts at IHOP and Denny's. So y'all just bear with me. But so you're part of Carnival Cruise Addicts match game, right?
I am, yes. So
who was that?
So actually that was Cruise Life TV's idea. Greg from Cruise Life TV, Greg and Michelle. But Greg, that was his idea to come up with the match game. And I believe it was Chris from Carnival Cruise Addicts. It was his idea to poach me, if you shall say poach, but it wasn't very hard. Because I love both of those couples, and it was an easy yes. I think Liz had texted me and said, if you don't say yes, I'm never going to be your friend. No, just joking, Liz. But it was a very easy yes, and then it developed into something really really amazing. That's something that I never really thought that it could turn into. We had 14, 15 people, and now every time we open the doors, there's almost 50 people in the live, 50, 60. Last week we had 64, which is crazy to play a match game. So it's been fun to develop. It's been fun to work with other creators. It's been fun to be creative. Everybody on that team has a different job, so everybody contributes in different ways to the show. Where it's not just everything you see is me. No, it's not. There's parts that are Greg. There's parts that are Michelle. There's parts that are Liz. That's parts that are Chris. There's definitely parts that are me. So that's what makes it great. Bill and I do the same thing. We go back and forth. And I talk to Bill almost every day. I'll let it be. Me and Bill, guys can call us duo, whatever you want. But I talk to Bill every day. He was also he was the first creator that I started to talk to about channels and editing and doing all these other things. So I confide a lot in Bill.
Well, I will say this. I think the best. I've only seen maybe 2 or 3 episodes of the match game, but recently you asked a question about being the funniest comedian and no, a salesman. You were a salesman, and what would you sell the Headless Horseman? And Chris, his answer from Carnival Cruise Addicts was epic. I ain't gonna say what it is. Y'all gotta go back and watch the episode. This is a kid-friendly channel, which is not.
Chris, you see what you did, Chris?
It was hilarious, man. I was over here dying. But hey, I do have a couple questions before I get into the questions, though. Let me pull up something here real quick. We got one question for me, and we have a question for Scott. And I want to take the time to thank, oh man, she stole my thunder for that $2. Wait, let me find my little study. $2. What? Super chat. Thank you so much for that super chat. I really appreciate that she stole my thunder. And the question that we have, someone asked, was I in the military? Yes, I did 20 years and 26 days in the United States Navy. I retired as an E8, also known as a senior chief petty officer. You can only go to E9. I had no intentions of ever joining the military, and it was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life.
Wow.
So 20 years and 26 days. The only reason the 26 days came into play, I enlisted on September 4th, 1989, and you can only retire at the 30th or the 31st of the month. That's how the 26 extra days was tacked on to my time. So
never knew that.
And we have a question here from Event Yours. Scott, do you speak your native language?
Good question. The only thing that I can say in my native language, if I can still remember it, is how to count to 10. And that is only because I took Taekwondo. And I went to a little bit of Asian camp, but didn't really like it. So we didn't go to Asian camp again.
I never learned. I learned some Japanese, konnichiwa and arigato.
Konnichiwa, that what I knew. That was from high school.
Yeah, I was in Tokyo and Yokosuka, somewhere in Japan. And it was funny, man, because every time you bow, well, they bow and you bow, and then they bow again, and I bowed, and then the next thing I know, man, my back was hurting. We were just over there bowing each other. I'm like, hey,
don't bow at the same time, you'll hit heads. Oh.
But the coolest thing, man, I couldn't do it now because I've gotten up in age, but I had the opportunity to have dinner with a Japanese family. It didn't happen when I went to Korea, and I sat on the little pillows and had some sake, and I didn't know that sake would mess you up, man. I was over there toe down. I was like, man, I'm about to spend the night. And I don't think they like that too much, though. Spend the night? No. So I go home. Yeah, you got to get up out of here. We don't know where you're going, but you're getting up out of here. So, man, let me get back up with my questions. So, hold up, man. And I'm not texting for my team member that thought. Now, you say you talk to Bill every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you, man, Bill is one of the coolest guys that I haven't had the pleasure of meeting, and so are you.
and I can't wait until I get the chance. You know, I kind of want to meet pretty much, I'd say 98% of the people that I come across on YouTube. It's 2% that I could care less if I meet or not, but it's just the different personalities, and it's amazing how just talking to you on a screen. Yeah, I have never spoke to Scott until we went backstage, and that was for maybe 5 or 6 minutes, and then we came straight into the interview. But to watch people's content, and then you feel, at least I do, I feel like I know them. You know, I've had the pleasure of meeting I and your favorite couple and Keeping Up the Griffins, and the list goes on and on. Matter of fact, I'm rocking a shirt tonight from Kayla Mark. Graphene Physiques is their company. So,
oh yeah, I was in one of her lives the other day.
Yeah, it's just cool. So now, what ship are you looking forward to going on the most, Scott? Like, they got all these new ships coming out. You know, the Fruitopia. No, that's the Utopia. I'm thinking about a drink. The Fruitopia. Y'all know I don't cruise, man. I'm checking this all up.
They hand you a pineapple as soon as you get on the ship. It's a Fruitopia.
Oh yeah, I heard about them pineapples. I don't think I'd be partaking in that situation.
Man, that one's okay. So I think the cruise that I'm looking forward to the most is the Rock and Roll Group cruise, the Norwegian Joy, November 29th to December 6th, for multiple reasons. One, because it's run in going towards a wonderful cruise charity foundation called Helping Hands for Cruising, which a bunch of, I think almost all of the people in the chat are familiar with or have some familiarity with. That is a wonderful, wonderful foundation. And also for another reason, my father is actually coming with me on that cruise. And if you want another one, I don't cruise Norwegian, so I guess I get to see the Joy. But I'm also doing Royal too, so that was hard. I'm going on Oasis of the Seas, so I want to be Rod, and I want to say Oasis of the Seas and Norwegian Joy. I want to say two. Can't say one. It's so hard.
Okay. Okay. So you have two. All right.
Two favorites.
Now, I always hear this, man, but I got to get your take since you're a Carnival guy. Do you really consider Carnival as the ghetto cruise ship?
I don't at all. I think there are cruise ships in the line that may attract whatever a more ghetto crowd, if you want to say, because of how cheap it may be to get on the ship. But as a line, I don't think Carnival is a ghetto ship. I think it is definitely a party cruise. It's definitely a budget cruise. It's definitely a cruise to go on and have fun. I think, in my opinion, without knowing anybody and just saying this broadly, I think it's a good starter line for a first-time cruiser, knowing nothing about the first-time cruiser, just throwing that out there. I think it's a good line. I think it's a good line to start with. A lot of people have fun, and they offer, 4-day-ish, 5-day cruises, which is probably just a good enough toe dipper for somebody who is on the fence or going on for their first time.
Gotcha. Well, Scott, my next question, but I do want to say this here. I have two questions. I have one question that's on the screen. The plans that Scott and I will be creating mayhem on the Booze Cruise 2.0 are in place. What's this about, Scott? You and Orange Cone Vlog. What y'all having, a booze cruise somewhere?
So that is I have so many cruises booked, like I said. So that is the cruise at the end of the year, the Carnival Paradise, October 28th, I believe, to November 6th, out of Tampa, Florida. That is also with a bunch of YouTube creators. I am going and rooming with Orange Cone Vlog, my aunt, who is in the chat, my cruise aunt, but now she's my real aunt. But my cruise aunt, my Aunt June, will be going on, and Uncle Brady will be going on the booze. It is Eddie Lugo's group cruise, who is also in the chat too as well. It is his group cruise, and we will be going on and having a bunch of fun. Another pre-cruise meetup with a bunch of vloggers, and the vloggers who make it on the ship, you get to cruise with a bunch of crazy, insane Halloween crazy cruisers. I'm dressing up. I don't know about you.
Gotcha. Now, you did a kind of a reel. I want to say it was a reel not long ago, and you gave a shout out to a content creator, and you mentioned that we often forget how to slow down. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. So that would be Geeky Girls Journal, Andrea from Geeky Girls Journal, and she has amazing lives and great messages. I watch a lot of things that are outside of the cruising community too, as well. I watch a lot of cruise content, but Andrea is definitely one of those humans that I definitely connected with on kind of I think that spiritual level, because she gives us that chance to remind ourselves to slow down. I think that that is something that not a lot of us take time to digest. I think we hear it a lot, right? I think we hear it mundanely, where it's like, "Hey, slow down, slow down, slow down." Like, but she really delivered it in such a beautiful way. So I don't want to take how beautifully she said it and how amazing that live was. So it is on her page. It is at Geeky Girls Journal. Amazing, amazing live. And yeah, it stuck with me for almost about a week. I mean, it's still continuing to stick with me, but I woke up reminding myself every day that week to, you know, hey, slow down. And it helped me throughout my day. It helped me throughout my work week, and it helped me throughout creating content. It helped me remember, when we slow down, right, there's some things that we don't forget. It gives us time to digest and take things in rather than just react, because we live in such a reacting society, right? We want to react so quickly rather than listen, take in, take in, think about it, take in it again, and then react. Right? We're so quick right now, and I'm an Aries, so I'm one to react right now. I want the, but she reminded me that week that we have to slow down, and we do, all of us, no matter what your sign is. No, I don't care. We all have to slow down in some aspect and regard in our life, especially.
Wow. Well, I have there's a question here, and this is gonna be my bathroom break question. So take your time answering this joint. Scott, how the heck do you fit in all these great guest appearances on live shows in addition to your own lives and vlogs? Do you ever sleep? How do you fit those in? Do you have a schedule? And I'm gonna give you the screen, Scott. Give me a half a second.
Sure. Ryan, that's a really good question. So yes, I do have two jobs. Both of my jobs actually fit very, very well, and I had a chance to switch one of my jobs to a 4-day work week, back to a 4-day work week, should I say? And because of my schedule on YouTube and the shorter days with the 5 days, that job fits so perfectly with my other job, my hotel job, and all of the lives that I do. Reminding everybody that I do a Wednesday Cruise Talk Live with Warm Strong Adventures from 4 o'clock my time PST, 7 o'clock EST. On Thursday, I'm opening up the Sea Wave Lounge with Jimmy every Thursday for Thirsty Thursday. A lot of you in here are Thirsty Thursday participants. Again, that is the same time as Bill and I, 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock on the Eastern. And then Friday, we do the match game, taking 2 weeks off for the next 2 weeks, but usually do the match game, and that's at 5 o'clock PST, 8 o'clock EST with Carnival Cruise Addicts and Cruise Life TV. So I have multiple lives, and then I have my own live on Saturday, my own podcast, I should say, on Saturday mornings, where I wake up with you guys. I have a cup of coffee. I feature a content creator and a coffee mug, also mug shots. Little shout out. Kind of running out of mugs, so somebody send me a mug. Just saying. Somebody send me a link to buy another mug, because running out of mugs. But mug shots and the Controversy Cast, which has now kind of taken off, getting more and more viewers and subscribers from that kind of cast. And if you want me to tease something, because I'm an Aries and I can't keep a secret, which we've kind of already teased, but I should have said this earlier when Elisa was in here. But Elisa from Elisa's Adventures in Cruising, Chet from Warmstrong Adventure, Chet from Scenic Journeys, excuse me, and myself, Scott from Controversial Cruising, will be coming out with a podcast, another podcast. You're like, oh, yeah, you're crazy. Just wait till you see what I have after that. But podcast with Elisa and Chet, and we're going to call it The Conscious Cruiser. We're going to tell you and teach you things that you may or may not know before you go. We want you to be the conscious cruiser. That's going to be pre-recorded, and it's going to be flopped around on each of our channels each week on a Monday morning. I'll release the time when it's time to release the time on Monday morning. And that is so we can be in the chat with you guys and we can engage with you guys. So it's going to be the same thing when you see Premiere. Just think of it as a live. So that's kind of how I'm testing with Elisa and Chet, and it's gonna be great. So that's gonna be like the next thing coming up for Controversial Cruise. I'm already getting excited, Chet.
Well, congratulations on that one, man. I got a couple I had to stop real quick, and I want to thank Journeys with June and Brady for becoming new subscribers to the channel. If anybody else subscribe, you don't have to put it in the comments, but I greatly appreciate it.
That is my aunt and uncle too, Rod, by the way.
Oh, cool. Thank y'all. Aunt June and Uncle Brady. Thank y'all. I feel like I'm part of the family now, man. Meeting
She's not being called Aunt June, by the way. Whenever you guys call her Aunt June in the chat, yes, Aunt June, I'm telling them. Whenever you guys call her Aunt June, she really enjoys that.
Okay, from now on, whenever I see you, you gonna be in trouble. So when I see Journeys with June and Brady, it's gonna be Aunt June from now on, and Uncle Brady.
And they just started their YouTube journey too through seeing other content creators, and they have a few videos on their page. One of which a cruise that we shared together. We were on the Carnival Miracle together. Carnival Miracle, yeah, Carnival Miracle. We went to Alaska, and they have a few videos on their page. So if anybody wants to go over and watch Journeys with June and Brady, please do. They're amazing, and let's get another video up there,
man. By all means, let's support it. All the people we can support.
Right.
Carnival Cruise that they said meeting Scott in person was a highlight for us in 2024. I always love to see stuff like that. Another team Scott. If Uncle Dave says, "What about being part of someone's inspiration for starting his own channel?" That's my story with Scott, and I love to see stuff like that.
Uncle Dave. Oh.
I mean, look at all these kind words, Scott. Everyone, I mean, I don't expect nobody to come on here and say anything negative, but just to see all these positive comments about you is a testament to who you are, and what you bring to the YouTube streets as well as to community in general. So salute to you for that, man. Please keep it up. And I only have a few more questions here, and
Rod, as crazy as it sounds, all the people that you're clicking on and all the people that are Team Scott and had come over, I thought there was going to be one or two people that came over, and there was 20, 25 of you that had come over. It's you guys that makes me as happy as I am to be on the YouTube streets, and within your lives. And when Jimmy says it every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, the best audience in the business, I really, for some reason or another, I hopped in to such a blessed community that took me in, and I continued to grow. I continued to, gravitate. I know a lot of my followers are older, but that's because I'm an older soul, and I gravitate towards that old soulness. I'm tucked in bed by 8:30, sometimes 9, depends, I have my cookies in my milk. I still like the paper fun times. I'm old. Don't think that I'm 36. I'm really 63. Bill was the one up there in at Paradise Beach. Where did you see me? You were like, where's Scott? Scott was taking care of an empty ship and, maybe taking a nap or two and, getting a taco. So.
Wow, man. He said he's 63, y'all. He's not 36. So only a couple more questions. We are coming up on that hour and a half mark, and I am trying to scale these down.
Oh wow.
Um, Now, you recently went to Alaska on that 11-day cruise. What was it like going to Alaska? I've been through the Aleutian Islands, but I've never put into port in Alaska. What was that like?
So I went. I actually had the blessing of going twice. I went last year in 2023 of August, and late in the season. I went with my uncle, Uncle Brady, and we went on the Carnival Luminosa. And I actually got to see my best friend who was contracted, which is the reason I always say I kind of went and it discovered Alaska on accident because I would have never went. First of all, I know all my carnival lovers out there, but I would have never chose to gone on the Carnival Luminosa. Second of all, I would have never chose to go to Alaska by myself without another significant other like a girlfriend or a wife because you want to do a lot of cutesy, romantic, ride the train and pet the polar bears and not polar bears, pet the bears and do all that kind of stuff with your significant other. So I just thought that that was what Alaska was. So when my friend was contracted there, I said, we got to go. Luckily, my uncle, who, had a casino deal or two, said, hey, let's go see him. So we went to go see him. I went to go see Alaska. And the beautiful part about this is we got to see the Northern Lights, Rod, in person. Both Uncle Brady and myself, 2 o'clock, almost half dressed, ran up to the deck. We were actually already up there. Live. We were already dressed, but people were running up there half dressed, and we got to see the phenomenon, which is the actual Northern Lights in person. And then this year, fast forward to this year, I also went with, I went with Uncle Brady, and then I went with Aunt June, and I went with another one of my friends, Richard from No Pants Profits, and he actually he took us around Alaska because he had worked on celebrity cruise ships and had spent 5 years in Alaska and really knew Alaska. So I wanted to take more of the local route this time. And he really showed us all about Alaska. And I got to see it through my eyes, of course, but I also got to see some things that I would not have gone to or taken myself to or experienced without had going through this time, being more wildlife, being glaciers. Didn't get to see any salmon and also didn't get to see any Northern Lights too early in the season, but it was very nice to have in just a year's time, about a year, have gone to Alaska both times in different seasons. It was really, man, blessed, Rod. I don't really have any other word but blessed. I can't. It's just breathtaking. You go to Alaska through a port, and you're just like, I want to move here, which is crazy because I posted that on my Facebook. I do want to move to Alaska. I want to move to Alaska and take up one of my businesses that I do. Well, not that I do, but talk my owner into it.
That's pretty dope, man. I've never seen the Northern Lights, and I've traveled the world extensively, and I've never had the opportunity to see the Northern Lights, nor pull into Alaska. I mean, I've probably been to more cities around the world than I have in the United States, actually. I think I'm finally starting to catch up and even it out. Now, one thing I want to bring up, Scott, I noticed today you were 80 subscribers away from 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
And you're 79 now because when I was doing my research today, my last minute research, I was on my Investing with Rod channel and I realized I hadn't subscribed from that channel. So 79 subscribers, y'all. Please, please, please. All I pulled up, comment after comment after comment, is how great Scott is, how fun he is. We love you, Scott. Scott is the bomb. Please, man, let's get this guy. He deserves to have 10,000 subscribers, not just 1,000. He deserves to have 10, 20, 30,000 subscribers. Now, are you close to your watch hours, Scott, if you don't mind me asking?
I am. I am actually 7 hours away, so I definitely have it. And that was one of the biggest things, Rod. And if I can kind of give, I don't want to say advice because I guess my perspective on YouTube for a second. A lot of people look at that sub number and are like, oh, that person's YouTube famous because they have X amount of subscribers. But I wanted to come in and I wanted to build something from the ground up. And I never did a sub for sub. I never asked anybody to run my playlist. If somebody ran my playlist, I definitely wasn't running theirs. Was I watching theirs? I may have watched it, but I'm not running it because I don't run anything. I want to actually watch it. I want to engage, and I want to get to know you. If I'm saying I'm gonna watch your stuff, I'm not just gonna put it on while I go to work or I'm in the shower. Well, because at the end of the day, right? If you have a bunch of people running your playlist, you have a bunch of people subbing, right? When you get to the finish line, where are those people? Those people aren't like the people that I had 30 people come over here today to watch me get interviewed, which I love every single one of you. You don't have that when you do those type of things. Now, am I saying as a sub for sub here or there? Yeah, it happens, right? But I like to, even if somebody says, "Oh, I sub to you," and I know they're like a sub for sub, I still sub to them and I go over and I interact. And if it falls off, it falls off. But if I watch and truly engage with their content, I'm gonna watch your content and I'm gonna be there. And if any of you, like I did it today on Carnival Cruise Addicts, I'm a text. I'm a comment as I goer. So as I watch something funny or as I'm watching your videos, I'm commenting. Then I see something else, I comment. Then I see something else. I might not go to the reply. I might just be annoying and I might just comment bomb. That's just the way that I am, right? And that is me. And that's how I do. I talk as I text. I text as I talk. And I just never believed in the sub for sub because at the end of the finish line, what do you have? You don't have anything true, right? I can say that I have true. I don't care if I have 1,000. I don't care if I have 2,000. I don't care if I have 50. I don't care if you restart me to 76. But don't take my true people away, right? The true people that I built from the ground up that are here, that are going to be on the front lines for me and with me and row together, right? It's not about me. It's about rowing together. The cruising community and getting more people aware about cruising. So, and yes, there's helping hands for cruising. There he is. They are. So, yeah, it's a foundation. Great 501(c). 503c1. 503.
I got a couple of things I got to say, and I got probably 2 more questions for Scott, maybe 3. Gorilla, you left the A out. I was a seaman, but I wasn't that type of seaman. Well, I guess I once was. I don't know. I'm sorry, y'all, man. But hey, Scott, I want to thank y'all for feeling sorry for me. I got to go back up here. I now have some Team Rod members, the Gorilla 51. I want to thank y'all for feeling sorry for me. We got all the Team Scotts, and we got Maggie, one of the best moderators out there in the YouTube streets, Sweet Acres, and Scott. They're both really Team Scott, but they're feeling sorry for me. So they're Team Rod and Team Scott. And Journeys with Joe, yes, man.
Yeah, there you go.
So let me think here. Actually, I have 2 questions left. My last question is, you recently said that there was one show that you would not miss on a Carnival cruise. What show is that?
That is the Love and Marriage show.
Okay. And I wanted to be surprised, so I didn't even watch it. I said, I wonder which one is it, and I had a feeling it would be the Love and Marriage. So I went on one cruise and didn't go to no shows. I was too busy doing everything but going to the shows, I guess.
Now you have to watch this one. You have to watch this one a little late at night, Rod. But I know the video that you're referring to. That was from the Alaska cruise last year. But fast forward to the Alaska cruise this year. It's not on my page, but I believe it's on Journeys with June and Brady's page. They were actually on stage for the Love and Marriage. So I think they were the middle couple that was married 25 or 30 plus years, and they got to go up on stage. I won't tell you how they got it. Just watch it at night, please, people. Watch it at night, and they encapsulated. I think it's like a 9-minute or 8-minute vlog of them being up on stage, and I think they got some kind of prize, a medal or a chip on a stick. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm afraid to ask what this hashtag is about. Matter of fact, it just say hashtag sausage. I don't know. I'm scared to ask what it means, man. I don't know.
Chris, that's one of the answers. One of the most common answers in the Sea Wave Lounge for Match Game, because when Chris doesn't know what else to write, he writes either sausage or naked. So.
Okay, Marjorie said I should be a contestant on the Match Game.
You should, Rod. You definitely should.
Well, I guess I have to talk to you and Carnival Cruise Addicts, Liz and Chris, about that. And I want to thank Marjorie for that $5 super chat. Thank you so much for that, Marjorie. I guess I almost don't have a choice now. And my last question, and once I read this question, ask this question rather, I'm going to shoot through the comments to make sure I didn't miss anything. And then I'm going to let Scott say his parting words, and then I'll say my parting words, and we're gonna get ready to get out of here. We are right at an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Man, I'm doing pretty good. So my last question, Scott, is the easiest question I could ask tonight. It requires a yes or no. Yes or no. Was this an experience?
Oh, it definitely was. Oh, yes. Deal.
Deal. One day I'm gonna ask somebody, they're gonna be like, no, Rod, this wasn't no experience. I can't even believe you kept me on here this long. So
nah, this was fun, man. This was fun.
Y'all, I know Scott took time out of his busy schedule. It's kind of why I'm trying to scale down the interview. I normally would go somewhere between an hour and a half, 2 hours, but I want to be cognizant of his time as well as your time. So I'm gonna shoot through these to make sure there's no questions for Scott.
And if you have any more questions, Rod, that come up, please, you got me technically. I call this one of my off days, which is good. So,
okay,
this for me, Rod, I could talk forever. So this for me is normal. I don't need any script, and that's one thing, kind of like about my vlogs too. And I'll allude to telling you, right. There's a reason why the social awareness, I guess you could say, is as high as it is. I actually had a job working for a fitness influencer that lived here in Scottsdale. I don't want to say the reason why I ended up here, because I'm my own person and I don't move somewhere for anybody. Even if it's a girlfriend, I move because I want to move here. But I fell in love with Scottsdale. I was working for the fitness influencer, and I was doing everything basically that you do to grow a channel for this gentleman and human being. I was also working out, and I was definitely a lot skinnier than I am now. And I had crafted a way to, get together an audience or a community, right? There was a Facebook group of 13,000 people in his group, in a Facebook group that was just Facebook, that had a lot of engagement in it, and I was definitely part of holding that engagement rate, and also being in that group chat and answering people's questions and growing that community. He also had 3.5 million followers among all different channels, and I was doing everything from stories to content creation to posting to scheduling posting to getting back in the DMs. I even got so good as alliterations as I was getting back as him, right? And that's also why I kind of had to step away. I did have to part from that because I felt my self-identity kind of asking me who I really am and if I am this person or if I am me. So I took a step back and I took about a year off, and then I came into controversial cruising, which is why I'm putting all the passion into what I'm doing now, is because I can do it for myself. At first, I wasn't making money doing it. Now, I'm partially monetized. I just have decided I'm going to do a full monetization party. Thank you very much, Rod. I've decided. A lot of people have asked me, why aren't you doing a monetization? I didn't even know you were partially monetized. So I will do it for the people, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it very much for the people. There's going to be a lot of giveaways. It's going to be a party. There's going to be a 50-50 raffle. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. And, I never thought I would have a growing, loving YouTube community like I do. But I guess if I were to turn back and feed the Vegas nerve for a second and see what I've done for him, what I'm doing now, it kind of makes sense, So with editing and content creation and all the stuff that I'm doing, all the little.
Well, I love your way with words, man. The way you break stuff down is really
Thank you.
amazing to me, and I take a lot of pride in listening to people, and the way you break stuff down, um, it just blows my mind, Scott. I'm very impressed. Hey, Maggie, I think she's already called it a night, but she wants to know what's your favorite ship.
Ooh, shit. Ooh, that's close. Okay, so it's a really close cut between the Carnival Jubilee, which is the newest, one of the newer Excel class ships from Carnival, but very close behind it is the Carnival Miracle, which I'm also going on now for a second time to Hawaii in like a month and a half. And I really like that Spirit class ship of how kind of small it is, but still kind of big. There's just enough for you to like be on there for 14 days. Hey, I don't know. I'm getting older, Rod, and I think the medium sized ships are just kind of sneaking in. Carnival Dream, honestly, to tell you the truth. Sorry, the Dream would be mad at me that I even thought about putting the Jubilee there. But yes, final answer, Carnival Dream.
Carnival Dream. All right, and I got to shout out a couple of people. I saw we have Evolving with Etta came in, my sister. We had my boy Travision 3D came in. He said Scott is legit. It's so many compliments for Scott, y'all. I can't read them all. And I love this one. Scott is an amazing person. If you haven't done so, please check out his channel. There's his link.
Rod, every time I would see your favorite couple, and this was just the way they made me feel. We did have a conversation when they were waiting for dinner, but every time I met them, no matter where I was, even if I was across, I would scream from the across the room and go, "It's everyone's favorite couple!" And it's just, if you talk to Key and Shelton, that is just the way they are. They're bubbly like me, and I knew they would love that. Maybe they were blushing a little bit, but it was amazing being around them. It was amazing interacting with them. And honestly, if they're not everybody's favorite couple, I mean, yeah, you can keep on scrolling. You can get out of here because you ain't got no place for that.
I tell you what, man, I love your favorite couple, and I see my camera is doing some little stuff here. I'm gonna show some love real quick to Danny. Hopefully, I'm saying the name right, Danny D, the spectacular supporter for that $1.99 super chat for interviewing an amazing dude. Love Scott, and I totally can't say that enough. Yes, Scott rocks. Trap Vision says, I'm most impressed with Scott's energy and flow. Dude is just fluid with entertaining. Yes, he is. Sweet Acre says, great interview, great guest. Thoroughly enjoy watching and finding a new channel. Thank you so much. That means a lot. And I'm going to have to put my avatar up here because, as you can see, I froze. And I'm gonna come back just to do I'm gonna go through these comments and do my closing, Scott's closing remarks, my closing remarks, and then we're gonna get out of here, y'all. So bear with me while
bear with it.
When it's time to go, it's when the battery frees up. And it never fails, man. I thought I had this down, but obviously I didn't. And I want to thank all y'all for the wonderful comments, man. We probably would have been gone, but y'all are so kind and loving. And Scott definitely has a lot of support in these YouTube streets. So,
Leo Langston, House of X, what's up, House of X?
Y'all bear with me here. Let me just put this on here and get back in here. I want to make sure we didn't miss any more questions for Scott. Didn't miss any more super chats. I definitely. And if I skip your comment, I apologize. Charge it to my fingers and not my heart. It was a lot of comments, man, a lot. Yeah. So let me get this camera straight here, and we're going to get ready to wrap this up. And I'm back. All right.
Everybody knows, too, if they think of something outside of this, whether it's, a cruising question or a life question, there's no dumb question. So I'm very approachable. I'm on all social media platforms, and my email is the same as my tag. So feel free to drop me a line if you think, oh, I forgot to ask Scott the question I'll answer anything. I'm an open book.
And I may have to do a part 2. I never know, man, because I really didn't even get to all the questions I had. But again, being early in the week and cognizant of your time, I wanted to make sure. Very good interview. Thank you, A-Frame. I appreciate that. We got the Mighty House of X in the house.
It's so much fun.
Man,
man, I missed that cruise.
we love you both. Such a good interview night. All right, y'all. And I think we are finally at the bottom. So, Scott, I'm gonna give you the screen, man. Whatever you want to say, the floor is yours. I'm gonna be sitting right here. And as soon as you finish, I'll set my closing comments and we'll get out of here.
Sweet. No, I just want to. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Rod for having me on this wonderful interview. It was actually the first interview. I was super pumped. I guess I'll take a page out of Bill's book. I was a little nervous maybe before this Rod hit the live. I didn't know how many people were going to show up, and I didn't know how an interview was going to go, but it went really well, and I had a lot of fun. I realized how many true amazing connections and friends and relationships that I really do have here on YouTube, outside of YouTube, that I've met now in real life, that have come and support me. All of the Team Scotts, I'm absolutely blown away. I'm blown away to all the people that show up to Cruise Talk Live, Thirsty Thursday, the Match Game, and now the Controversy Cast, my podcast. And I know you guys will continue to support when I put other content out, videos, and the other podcasts that are down the pipeline with Elisa and Chet and Warmstrong. Oops, did I? Whoops. Yeah. So I'm blown away by your guy. You guys give me the fuel to be as energetic as I am and be as welcoming and as entertaining as I am, because I believe on YouTube to actually have your viewing and your subs grow and want to still stay there, you got to be somewhere in between entertaining and educational, which is why 2 of my lives a week are entertaining, 2 of my lives a week are educational. Did that on purpose, right? And the reason why I paint the picture of the escape in the Sea Wave Lounge and everybody comes to escape the week and the weekend, I do that, right? Because I'm painting that picture with you, but I know that everybody can relate because we all have problems going on in our life. So with those problems, I can't believe you all showed up tonight, and I love every single one of you.
Wow. I got a couple of things I need to pull up here.
Yeah,
someone said, what's your favorite tuning about your channel? I'm not sure.
Danny, tell me what other word you meant besides tuning. It was definitely an autocorrect. So
just all the love. Kimberly, thank you so much. Great interview with Scott. Thank you, Rod, PBE. You're more than welcome. I just want to show love to Scott. And Adventures with Uncle Dave, as long as Liz and Chris will have me. And
yes,
Scott, I will be more than honored to be on the Match Game.
And honestly, Rod, we have a bunch of, so we have both a single pool and we have a couples pool. So
I'm taking. So I don't know if I can't be in the singles pool, but my partner don't like being on camera, so I may have to talk her into it.
No, okay. Well, if she wants to be, she's more than welcome. But I meant if you want to come up here, I can get somebody like Bill or somebody like that. That would be not your partner, but would be the other guest star, because we usually have either a couple or we have 2 singles on. So I have a list for both. So,
okay, cool.
So if she's like I'm out, you're still more than welcome. So we will definitely get you. I think we're planned out till, I want to say the last week in August or the first week in September. So, and again, that's the crazy thing, right? So, Liz and I when we were kind of like the recruiters of getting people in, I had created this jock form, and it's still a thing too out there. This jock form survey of why people want to be on the Match Game, and again, that link is still out there, but now it's becoming more and more popular that the DMs are kind of becoming full with requests for people that want to come on the Match Game, Thirsty Thursday, and things like that. And I definitely want that. But, now we're not having to look for the people there. It's kind of scheduling itself. So it's something that I just never would have thought, Rod, that people are gravitating towards, and it's taking off like wildfire. It really is, and I think it's the feeling of being there in the Sea Wave Lounge and escaping the week and having fun and a cocktail and laughing and all the relatability to Captain Controversy, my alter ego.
Well, I tell you, the episodes I've seen have been great, so I would love to be on there.
Absolutely, we would love it.
Danny came back with a question. She said, "What's the favorite thing about your channel?" Darn autocorrect.
Danny D, favorite thing about my channel. I think favorite thing about my channel is being able to create and inform and entertain all cruisers at all different spectrums, right? I pride myself in being able to find the first time cruiser, being able to find the experienced cruiser, and being able to find the cruiser like Bill from Armstrong Adventures, who's got 53 cruises or whatever under his belt, and finding that person and finding a common relatability and a common ground, within those, and creating something from nothing. I'm a creator at heart. I like creating something from nothing. It's always like that.
Wow. I love it. Well, in closing, ladies and gentlemen, and once we finish, Scott, I don't have anything for you. What I am going to do is I'm going to DM you my personal number.
Okay.
Next time I'm in Phoenix, I'll shoot you a DM, let you know, and then maybe we can link up. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, tonight you have witnessed greatness. Like I said, I only bring the best of the best on this channel. It didn't start out that way, and I have a lot more people that I plan on reaching out to, so you never know who's going to be next. Tonight, we had the opportunity to meet a very special person. For those of you that didn't know Scott, I've yet to do an interview where I didn't learn something that I didn't know prior to the interview about the person that I'm interviewing. We do all this research. I do a lot of research, and I think I have it all figured out. And then I actually get a chance to work with the guests. And each and every time, for the most part, I'm pretty impressed. And tonight, I'm extremely impressed. Make sure you guys not only subscribe to Scott, subscribe to all the wonderful content creators that are part of Team Scott. And I want to take the time right now to thank everyone that super chatted. I want to thank all of the subscribers. I want to thank the viewers. I want to thank the people that are thinking about subscribing but haven't jumped over that little threshold just yet. And we're going to keep bringing you the best of the best on here, not only on this channel, but I'm getting ready to pull it up on my other 3 channels as well. But all I can say is thank y'all for the support tonight. Was beyond amazing. And other than that, man, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to close us out. Make sure y'all check out all of the channels on the Points Blank Network. And I'm getting ready to pull it up here. Then I'm going to take us out. But you do have to the left, you have with the globe, you have Points Blank Travel, where I talk about showing people how to travel for little or no money out of your pocket using credit card points and miles. I haven't paid for a trip since 2016. And we are currently on the Points Blank Experience, where it's real talk from a point blank perspective. We do trending topics, interviews. In the middle, you have the Points Blank Network logo. And to the right, you have the circle, Investing with Rod. You want to learn how to invest in stocks, crypto, and exchange traded funds. I can teach how to do it with little or no money out of your pocket. I won't do any investing for you. You're on your own. I'm going to put the videos out, tell you what I'm investing in, and it's up to you whether you want to watch your money flip like pancakes or not. And then we have Points Blank Clips, where I take the longer live streams and I crunch them down into 2 to 5 minute or 2 to 8 minute clips. And with all that being said, much love each and every one of y'all. I will be coming at y'all soon, dropping more heat, dropping more fire, dropping more knowledge, and you never know who's next. And with all that being said, much love, y'all. Much love. And Scott, I will be coming at you soon, man. Much love.
Yes, sir.
I'll shoot you that my number right after this.
Yes, sir. Bye, guys. Thanks for all the support.
All right.
Love you guys.
All right.
my veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say, oh, oh, la, 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 la.
Please.
6 a.m. and I'm up again. I got tired eyes, need a cup of blend. That's right, in the AM, that's my only